The Galactic Empire had watched Earth for decades. Made up of 17 different alien species, the Empire controlled most of the known galaxy. Their scout ships observe human television, radio, and internet signals from a safe distance. These strange bipedal creatures seemed primitive, but unusually aggressive. Captain Nathan Cole piloted his patrol ship near the orbit of Mars. His mission was routine: monitor the automated mining stations and check for debris that might threaten Earth shipping lanes. At 34, Cole had spent 12 years in the Earth Defense Force, never expecting to encounter anything more dangerous than space junk or the occasional mechanical failure. "Captain, I'm picking up an unusual energy signature," said Lieutenant Samantha Miller, looking up from her sensor station. "It doesn't match any known Earth vessel." Cole frowned. "Show me." The main screen displayed a sleek, silvery object moving with impossible precision. It was unlike anything human-built. No visible thrusters, no radiation signature from nuclear engines. "Try hailing them on all frequencies," Cole ordered. Inside the Imperial scout vessel, Commander Zax Vorn received the human transmission. The Empire had studied Earth languages, and his ship's computers quickly translated the message. "They've detected us," Zax Vorn told his crew. "The stealth field must have malfunctioned." His second-in-command, Krell, displayed the human vessel on their viewing sphere. Such primitive technology. Their weapons couldn't even penetrate our defensive screens. The High Council ordered observation only, Zax Vorn reminded him. "We should withdraw. Or we could make first contact," Krell suggested. "These humans will join the Empire eventually. Why not begin now?" On the Earth ship, Cole watched as the alien vessel changed course, moving directly toward them. "All crew to battle stations," he ordered. "Power up defensive systems." "Sir, they're broadcasting something," Miller reported. A voice came through the speakers, speaking strangely accented English. "Earth vessel, we come in peace. We represent the Galactic Empire, a coalition of civilized worlds." Cole hesitated. First contact with aliens should involve diplomats and politicians, not a patrol ship captain. But here he was. "This is Captain Nathan Cole of the Earth Defense Force. We welcome peaceful contact." As the alien ship approached, Cole ordered defensive shields raised, standard protocol even for friendly encounters. Aboard the Imperial vessel, alarms sounded. "They've activated weapons systems," Krell shouted, misinterpreting the shield activation. "Hold position," Zax Vorn commanded. It may be a misunderstanding, but Krell had already initiated defense protocols. A warning shot flashed across the bow of Cole's ship. Cole reacted instantly. "Return fire. Target their propulsion systems." The human ship's missiles streaked toward the alien vessel. They exploded harmlessly against superior shields, but the message was clear. They attacked without provocation. Krell exclaimed. "Exactly as our studies predicted." Zax Vorn frowned but followed protocol. His ship fired again, this time disabling the human vessel's main engines. "Send the standard submission message," he ordered. "Explain that resistance is futile." Cole's damaged ship drifted, emergency systems keeping life support functioning. He opened a channel to Earth Command. "This is Captain Cole. We've engaged an alien vessel. I repeat, we have made hostile contact with extraterrestrial forces." As the Imperial ship departed at impossible speed, Cole knew everything had changed. Humanity was no longer alone in the universe, and their first meeting had ended in violence. On the Imperial homeworld 3 days later, the High Council reviewed Zax Vorn's report. "These humans attacked our peaceful scout," the Supreme Counselor announced. "They are clearly too aggressive for diplomatic inclusion in our empire." Admiral Vrax Tull stood. "I will prepare the conquest fleet immediately. Standard protocol suggests 3 days will be sufficient to pacify their world." None of the council members objected. None could imagine that the conquest of Earth would be different from the hundreds of worlds that came before. They had no idea what awaited them. Admiral Vrax Tull stood on the command deck of the Imperial flagship, watching as his conquest fleet exited hyperspace near Jupiter. 200 warships, each carrying troops and weapons that had subdued countless civilizations before. The massive gas giant served as perfect cover for their arrival. "Prepare the first wave," he ordered. Standard conquest protocol. His second-in-command, Commander Lithnar, reviewed the tactical displays. "The humans have primitive orbital defenses and a small fleet of armed vessels. Nothing that can withstand our technology." On Earth, alarms blared in the Unified Military Command Center beneath the Rocky Mountains. General Lisa Winters studied the satellite feeds with growing concern. The alien ships were massive, the smallest dwarfed Earth's largest spacecraft. "Get me the president," she said. "And someone find Dr. Fisher." Dr. Alan Fisher had been working nonstop since the coal incident 3 weeks earlier. His laboratory contained debris from the alien scout ship that had been collected by a recovery mission. He looked up as his assistant burst through the door. "They're here," she said simply. Fisher nodded grimly. "What we feared. Did we decipher enough of their technology? Our new shields might withstand their weapons for a short time, but we only had enough material to equip 12 ships." Fisher gathered his notes. "It will have to be enough." The Imperial fleet split into formation. Their strategy had worked flawlessly on hundreds of worlds. Destroy military capabilities, demonstrate overwhelming force, and demand surrender. Target their moon bases first, Vrax commanded, then their orbital platforms. Lithnar seemed confused. "Intelligence shows they have only scientific outposts on their moon. Minimal defensive value." "It will demonstrate our reach," the Admiral replied. "Fear is our most efficient weapon." The lunar research station exploded in silence as Imperial energy beams struck. 38 researchers died instantly. On Earth, billions watched the live feeds in horror. President William Carter addressed the world. "We are under attack by an alien force. This is not a drill. All defense protocols are now active. Stay calm and follow emergency procedures." General Winters mobilized Earth's combined forces. "Deploy the Fisher-equipped ships behind Mars. Keep the rest in low orbit for planetary defense." The Imperial fleet moved toward Earth, expecting little resistance. Their sensors detected the primitive human vessels approaching. "Curious," Vrax observed. "They send so few ships. Perhaps they intend to surrender immediately." Captain Maria Diaz commanded the lead Earth vessel. "All ships, execute maneuver Hornet's Nest on my mark." The 12 Earth ships suddenly accelerated to maximum speed, splitting into seemingly random patterns. The Imperial targeting systems struggled to lock onto the erratic movements. "Their tactics are unusual," Lithnar noted with surprise. The Earth ships fired their newly developed weapons, missiles containing hybrid technology based on Fisher's research. The warheads passed through the outer layer of Imperial shields and detonated against the hulls. 3 Imperial cruisers suffered damage, not severe, but damage nonetheless. Vrax stood in shock. Impossible. Their technology couldn't have advanced this quickly. On the surface, Major Frank Bennett led ground forces preparing for the inevitable invasion. "These trenches won't stop them, but they'll slow them down," he told his soldiers. "Remember your training. We fight for Earth today." The Imperial ships regrouped and launched a devastating counterattack. 8 Earth vessels were destroyed, their crews lost. But the remaining 4 escaped behind Mars, already transmitting valuable combat data back to Earth. In his laboratory, Fisher analyzed the battle information. "Their shields have a fluctuation pattern. We might be able to exploit it." General Winters nodded. "How long?" "Days, maybe weeks. The Empire gives conquered worlds 3 days to surrender," she said grimly. Fisher smiled for the first time in weeks. "Then I guess we'll have to disappoint them." In orbit, Admiral Vrax prepared for ground invasion. "Begin landing procedures. I want this planet secured within 72 hours. He had no idea that the standard Imperial conquest timeline was about to be shattered. 3 days had stretched into 3 weeks. Admiral Vrax Toll paced the command deck of his flagship, his four-fingered hands clasped tightly behind his back. "This is unprecedented," he muttered. "No species has ever resisted past the initial conquest phase." On the tactical display, red dots showed Imperial forces spread across Earth's continents, but for every red dot that appeared, several would vanish within hours. Human resistance was nothing like the Empire had encountered before. In the ruins of Chicago, Major Olivia Grant led her squad through the sewers beneath the alien occupation zone. They moved silently, carrying weapons cobbled together from captured alien technology and human firearms. "Remember, strike and disappear," she whispered to her troops. "No heroics. We hit the power node and retreat immediately." Above them, Imperial troops patrolled the streets. Their armor was designed to withstand energy weapons, but the humans had discovered that old-fashioned bullets still penetrated quite effectively. Grant checked her watch. 3 minutes until the diversion. Miles away, Commander Ryan Hayes studied the captured alien shield generator in an underground bunker. For 2 weeks, he had been testing different frequencies, looking for weaknesses. "Try a modulating pulse at this frequency," he told his engineers. "Their shields seem to recycle every 3.7 seconds. There's a microsecond vulnerability we might exploit." The technician made the adjustment. When they fired their modified weapon at the test shield, it flickered and failed. Hayes grabbed his radio. "Get me General Winters. We'd found something." At Imperial headquarters, formerly the United Nations building in New York, Commander Lithnar delivered more bad news. "We've lost contact with the Western Perimeter forces, and the humans have somehow disabled another troop transport." Vrax Toll slammed his fist on the table. "How? They were primitive just cycles ago." "They adapt quickly," Lithnar admitted. "Our xenobiologists have a theory. Humans may be the only species we've encountered who evolved as both predator and prey. Meaning, they understand hunting and being hunted. Their history is endless warfare against each other. They were prepared for this in ways we weren't." In Chicago, Grant's team reached the alien power node. They planted their charges and prepared to retreat when Imperial soldiers appeared at both ends of the tunnel. "We're cut off," her lieutenant whispered. Grant smiled grimly. "Then we fight through. Plan B." She pulled out a small device Hayes had provided, untested technology based on the shield frequency discovery. When she activated it, the aliens' weapons suddenly powered down. "Now," she shouted. Her team opened fire with conventional weapons, cutting down the confused Imperial troops. Back on the flagship, Vrax Toll faced the unthinkable. He opened a secure channel to the Imperial High Council. "Respected counselors, I must request reinforcements for the Earth conquest." Gasps echoed through the transmission. No admiral had ever requested reinforcements for a planetary conquest. "Explain this failure," demanded the Supreme Counselor. "These humans, they're different. They refuse to surrender. They adapt to our weapons. They use their primitive technology in ways we never anticipated." In Washington, D.C.'s ruins, General Winters met with her command staff. Hayes and Fisher presented their findings on Imperial technology. "We can disable their shields temporarily," Hayes explained. "Not for long, but enough to get our weapons through." Fisher added, "And we've partially decoded their communication systems. We can listen in, maybe even send false orders." Winters nodded. "Then it's time for Operation Thunderstrike. We coordinate our forces globally and hit them simultaneously." She turned to the wall map showing Imperial positions. "For 3 weeks, we've been reacting, surviving. Now we start pushing back." On his flagship, Vrax Toll received word from the Council. Reinforcements would arrive in 1 cycle, approximately 2 Earth weeks. "We must hold until then," he told his commanders. "Increase orbital bombardment, destroy their infrastructure, break their will." He looked down at Earth through the viewing port. "No primitive species defies the Empire. They will learn this lesson harshly. Little did he know that humans were about to teach the Empire a lesson of their own. Dr. Alan Fisher hadn't slept in 3 days. Coffee cups littered his lab as he studied the alien technology spread across several tables. What had once seemed impossibly advanced now revealed its secrets under his persistent analysis. Their power systems use quantum entanglement, he explained to General Winters through a secure video call. They're efficient but follow predictable patterns. We can disrupt them. Can you weaponize this knowledge? Winters asked. Fisher nodded. Already have. The prototypes are ready for field testing. Across the Atlantic, Lieutenant Jack Powell prepared for the most dangerous mission yet. His small team had trained for weeks using simulations based on captured Imperial ship layouts. Remember, we need their command codes and fleet positions, Powell told his 5 operators. Get in, download the data, get out. Stealth is everything. Their transport, a modified Earth shuttle with reverse-engineered Imperial cloaking technology, approached the Imperial command ship under cover of a meteor shower. The timing had to be perfect. 30 seconds to contact, the pilot whispered. Shields are synchronized to pass through their defensive barrier. Powell checked his weapon one last time. For Earth. On the Imperial flagship, Admiral Vrax Tull met with the xenobiology team. Their research had become increasingly urgent as human resistance continued to strengthen. Show me what you've discovered, he ordered. The lead scientist, Mevlak, displayed images of human evolutionary history. Most species in the Empire evolved either as apex predators or dedicated prey animals. Humans followed a unique path. The display showed early humans hunting in groups, then being hunted by larger predators. They were both hunter and hunted throughout their development. Mevlak explained. This created a species with predator instincts and prey caution. They understand how to stalk and how to hide, how to kill and how to survive. Vrax Tull's color patterns shifted, showing concern. And their warfare. Constant. While our species evolved toward cooperation, humans spent millennia fighting each other. They've had endless practice at what we're trying to do now. Elsewhere on the ship, Powell's team silently moved through the maintenance tunnels. Their adaptive camouflage, based on stolen Imperial technology, helped them avoid detection. Command Center is 2 levels up, whispered his tech specialist, Riley. Heavy security. Powell nodded. Plan B then. Instead of confronting the guards, they accessed a data terminal in a less secure area. Riley connected their quantum decryptor, another of Fisher's creations. Downloading now. 3 minutes. In his lab, Fisher tested his latest invention, a device that could temporarily disable Imperial neural implants. The captured Imperial soldier on the table twitched as the device activated. Their implants connect them to their command network. Fisher told his assistant, disable those, and their coordination breaks down. At the Pentagon ruins, General Winters finalized Operation Thunderstrike. Representatives from global resistance cells attended virtually. The Imperial reinforcements arrive in 8 days, she told them. We strike before then. Simultaneous attacks on all major Imperial installations. Major Grant asked, what about civilian casualties? Fisher's team has developed methods to identify human collaborators. We'll extract them if possible. On the Imperial command ship, Powell's team finished downloading. As they prepared to leave, an alarm sounded. We've been detected, Riley hissed. Powell made a quick decision. Split up. Meet at the extraction point. I'll create a diversion. He set charges on the ship's secondary power system while his team escaped. The explosion would be minor but disruptive. As Imperial troops converged, Powell ran through corridors, eventually reaching an escape pod. He launched just as the charges detonated. In his command center, Vrax Tull received the analysis of human warfare capabilities. Their strength isn't their technology, the report concluded. It's their adaptability and determination. They simply refuse to accept defeat. As Powell's pod streaked toward Earth with its precious data, Vrax Tull made a grim realization. For the first time in Imperial history, conquest might fail. What began as a simple subjugation had become something unprecedented, a genuine war. The morning of Operation Thunderstrike dawned with an eerie quiet. Across the globe, resistance fighters checked their weapons and waited for the signal. Lieutenant Powell's stolen Imperial data had given them exactly what they needed: the complete Imperial defense grid and communication protocols. General Winters stood in the command bunker, surrounded by screens showing resistance forces worldwide. "All units report ready status," she ordered. One by one, team leaders confirmed their readiness. This would be humanity's first coordinated global counteroffensive. If it failed, there might not be another chance before Imperial reinforcements arrived. "Begin operation on my mark," Winters said, her voice steady. 3, 2, 1. Execute. Across Earth, Fisher's disruption devices activated simultaneously. Imperial neural networks crashed. Alien soldiers suddenly found themselves cut off from their command structure, their implanted communications silent. In Moscow, resistance fighters led by Colonel Petrov launched modified EMP weapons that disabled Imperial vehicles. In Rio, guerrilla teams used the shield frequency vulnerability to penetrate Imperial bases. Similar scenes played out on every continent. Captain Emma Rodriguez led the most critical mission: an assault on Admiral Vraxtoll's personal shuttle during a scheduled inspection of ground forces. Her team of 30 elite soldiers had trained specifically for this operation. "Remember, we want him alive," she reminded them as their transport approached the landing zone in what was once northern Spain. "He's worth more as a prisoner than a corpse." The Imperial shuttle landed, unaware that its communications were receiving false security clearances generated by Earth's new countermeasure systems. As Admiral Vraxtoll disembarked with his guards, Rodriguez gave the signal. Snipers eliminated the guards with perfect synchronization. Before the Admiral could react, Rodriguez's team surrounded him. "Admiral Vraxtoll," she said, weapon trained on his central mass, "you are now a prisoner of Earth." For the first time in his long military career, Vraxtoll felt fear. No species had ever dared capture an Imperial admiral. On the Imperial flagship, chaos reigned. Commander Lithnar received reports of simultaneous attacks across the planet. "The Admiral's shuttle has gone silent," an officer reported. "Ground forces are reporting massive communications failures." Lithnar struggled to comprehend what was happening. "Launch orbital strikes on the human capitals." "We can't," came the reply. "Our targeting systems are being jammed." In the Pentagon bunker, Winters watched as green lights appeared on her tactical display. One by one, Imperial positions fell to the coordinated human assault. "London secure, Beijing secure, Cairo secure," reports flowed in. Powell entered with fresh intelligence. "The Imperial fleet is in disarray. Without the Admiral, their chain of command is fractured." Winters allowed herself a small smile. "And Rodriguez?" "Mission successful. They're bringing Vraxtoll to the Canadian facility now." In the remnants of the Imperial headquarters, Lithnar made a desperate decision. "Prepare for emergency withdrawal. We will regroup with the reinforcement fleet." His officers stared in disbelief. "Withdraw. We've never abandoned a conquest." "This is no longer a conquest," Lithnar replied grimly. "It's a war we weren't prepared to fight." Imperial ships began lifting off from Earth, many under heavy fire from newly deployed human weapons. Several were destroyed before reaching orbit. For the first time, the mighty Imperial war machine was in retreat. Across the galaxy, news spread rapidly. On conquered worlds, subjugated species whispered about the impossible. Humans had forced the Empire to retreat. On Vaxtunar, the Imperial capital, the High Council convened an emergency session. The Supreme Counselor read the disturbing reports with mounting horror. "An admiral captured. Multiple ships destroyed. This cannot be allowed to stand." The military strategist spoke cautiously. "These humans demonstrate capabilities we've never encountered. Perhaps we should recess." Silence. The Supreme Counselor roared. No primitive species defies the Empire. We will send not just reinforcements, but a full invasion force. As night fell on Earth, victory celebrations began. After weeks of occupation, humans had won their first major battle against the invaders. In her temporary office, General Winters received a message from Rodriguez. Package secured, awaiting interrogation teams. The tide had turned, but Winters knew this was just the beginning. The real war was about to start. Admiral Vraxtol sat in his cell, the strange gravity of Earth making his limbs feel heavy. The room was comfortable enough. The humans hadn't mistreated him, but the humiliation burned inside him. No Imperial Admiral had ever been captured in the Empire's 10,000-year history. The door opened, and General Winters entered with Dr. Fisher. They brought no guards, showing either confidence or foolishness. Your forces are in retreat, Admiral, Winters said. We've destroyed 17 of your ships and captured 4 more. Vraxtol's skin rippled with color patterns that expressed disbelief. Impossible. Fisher placed a tablet showing global battle reports on the table. See for yourself. Your remaining ships are regrouping beyond our moon. The Admiral studied the reports, his eyes widening. The humans had somehow coordinated a global counterattack with devastating efficiency. You should never have been able to do this, he said finally. Yet here we are, Winters replied. Now we need to discuss what happens next. In orbit, Commander Lithnar had gathered the remaining Imperial forces. 2/3 of their conquest fleet was either destroyed, captured, or too damaged to fight effectively. The reinforcement fleet arrives in 4 days, he told his captains. We must hold position until then. Captain Kresdar, a veteran of 50 conquest campaigns, spoke up. Commander, I've been analyzing the human tactics. They've adapted to our technology with remarkable speed. Your point. This species is unlike any we've encountered. Even with reinforcements, conquest may be costly. Lithnar bristled. Are you suggesting the mighty Empire cannot defeat primitives? I'm suggesting we consider a temporary withdrawal to develop specific strategies for this unique enemy. On Earth, Dr. Fisher made a breakthrough while studying the Imperial ship's faster-than-light drive systems. It works by creating a quantum bubble that slides between space-time folds, he explained to a room of scientists. We can't reproduce it yet, but we understand the principles. One of his colleagues looked up from her calculations. Alan, if this is correct, we could potentially develop our own interstellar drive within a year. Fisher nodded. And with the materials from the captured ships, maybe sooner. In his cell, Vraxtol was surprised when a young human officer named Lieutenant Scott brought him a meal. Your species fights well, the Admiral said, attempting conversation. Scott placed the tray down carefully. We fight because we must. We prefer peace. Peace requires submission to the Empire. That's not peace. That's surrender. The Admiral considered this. In 10,000 years, no species has resisted us successfully. Scott smiled slightly. There's a first time for everything. In orbit, something unexpected happened. 3 Imperial captains, led by Kresdar, broke formation and moved their ships toward Earth. Lithnar immediately hailed them. Return to position immediately. This is treason. Kresdar's voice came through clearly. I served the Empire for 90 cycles. I recognize a losing strategy when I see one. Is ships broadcast on frequencies the humans could receive? People of Earth, we request permission to land. We come to offer information and assistance. The defection shocked the Imperial command structure. Nothing like this had ever happened before. General Winters met with her staff to discuss this development. It could be a trap, Powell warned. Rodriguez disagreed. Our captured admiral's reaction seems genuine. He's horrified that Imperial captains would defect. Winters made her decision. Allow them to land at the Australian facility. Maximum security protocols. When Kresdar met with Earth's leaders, he delivered a sobering message. The Empire will return with greater forces. You've won a battle, not the war. What do you suggest? President Carter asked. Prepare. I will share Imperial tactical information and send a message. What message? That humans are not to be conquered easily. The Empire respects strength and fears the unknown. Become both. The next day, as Imperial ships prepared to withdraw completely ahead of the reinforcement fleet's arrival, Earth broadcast on all Imperial frequencies. The message was simple but powerful. To the Galactic Empire, your forces have been defeated. Your admiral is our prisoner. Your conquest has failed. We did not start this war, but we will finish it. You have not seen what humans are truly capable of. The next time you come to Earth, you will not face a primitive species unprepared for your arrival. You will face the full might of humanity. This is not a threat. This is a warning. Run. As the message played, the remaining Imperial ships accelerated away from Earth. For the first time in its history, the Empire retreated not as a tactical decision, but out of genuine uncertainty. 3 years had passed since the Empire's retreat. Earth looked different now. Cities were being rebuilt, but with new architecture that incorporated both human designs and alien technology. Defense platforms orbited the planet, their weapons systems developed from captured Imperial technology. Admiral Nathan Cole stood on the bridge of the EFSS Defiance, Earth's first true interstellar warship. At its core was a quantum drive reverse-engineered from Imperial technology, enhanced by Dr. Fisher's innovations. The ship was nearly twice as fast as standard Imperial vessels. Final systems check complete, Admiral, reported Captain Diaz, now his second in command. We're ready to depart. Cole nodded. Begin launch sequence. Behind the Defiance, 7 more warships prepared to follow. Earth's first diplomatic fleet was armed for peace but prepared for war. General Winters, now Earth Defense Force Commander, contacted Cole from Mission Control. Admiral, you're cleared for departure. Remember your objectives. Establish contact with the rebellion worlds, secure alliances, and deliver our message to the Imperial Council, Cole recited. Don't worry, Lisa. We're ready. On Vax-Tumor, the Imperial capital, the High Council was in turmoil. What began as a few defections had grown into open rebellion. 7 formerly conquered worlds had declared independence, inspired by Earth's resistance. The humans have not attempted space travel beyond their system, reported the intelligence minister. Our blockade remains in position. The Supreme Councilor's color patterns showed agitation. And what of Admiral Vraxtal? Still their prisoner. They treated him well but refused to release him. What the intelligence minister didn't know was that Vraxtal no longer wished to be released. During his 3 years on Earth, he had witnessed something remarkable. A species that valued both strength and compassion, capable of both terrible violence and surprising kindness. In his comfortable quarters, now more home than prison, Vraxtal finished writing his book, Understanding Humans, a warning to the Empire. Several Imperial defectors had already smuggled copies to rebelling worlds. Dr. Fisher, now heading Earth's Advanced Technology Division, put the finishing touches on his latest creation. The quantum communication device could send messages instantly across vast distances, something even the Empire hadn't achieved. Send the signal to Admiral Cole, he told his team. Let him know the communication network is active. On the Defiance, Cole received the message. Perfect timing. Prepare for quantum jump. The Earth fleet accelerated, then vanished in flashes of blue light as they entered quantum space. Their destination, Krelvor, a former Imperial world now leading the rebellion. The Imperial blockade ships registered the energy surge too late. By the time they reported to command, the Earth fleet was gone. On Krelvor, Resistance leader Mexon received word of approaching ships. Unknown configuration, but they're broadcasting on our secure channels. When the Earth fleet emerged from quantum space, the Krelvorians were waiting. Not with weapons, but with open communications. People of Krelvor, Cole transmitted. We are from Earth. We bring an offer of alliance. Within days, representatives from 12 rebellious worlds gathered on Krelvor to meet the humans. Cole presented Earth's proposal, a new galactic alliance based on mutual defense and respect for sovereignty. The Empire has ruled through fear for 10,000 years, he told them. Together, we can create something better. As the Earth fleet continued its diplomatic mission, the rebellion grew. More worlds declared independence, protected by their new human allies and the rapidly spreading technology Earth freely shared. 3 months into their mission, Cole made the boldest move yet. The Defiance appeared in orbit around Vax Tunner itself, broadcasting a message to the Imperial capital. The Supreme Counselor watched in shock as a human appeared on the Imperial communication systems, a feat that should have been impossible. People of the Empire, Cole said calmly. For millennia, you have conquered and subjugated other species. That era is over. Earth now leads an alliance of free worlds. We do not seek war, but we will defend freedom wherever it is threatened. He paused, then delivered the final message. The humans are coming. This is not a threat. This is a warning to those who value their freedom. Join us. To those who would conquer, run. Before the Imperial fleet could respond, the Defiance vanished back into quantum space. Across thousands of worlds, the message spread. For the first time, the Empire faced not just resistance, but a true alternative. The galaxy would never be the same again.